Namaste for TV9 Digital, this is Priyanka Deo. August 5th, 2019 marked the abrogation of Article 370, which took away special status of Jammu and Kashmir as well as its conversion into a union territory. What is Article 370, why is it so important, and what on-ground changes have been made 2 years after its abrogation? Here's what you need to know. Number one, what is Article 370? Article 370 of the Indian Constitution gave special status to Jammu and Kashmir. This allowed a separate constitution, a state flag, and full autonomy over internal affairs. Article 370 was drafted in Part 21 of the Indian Constitution and states that Jammu and Kashmir could also determine how much of the Indian Constitution would apply to the state. Under Article 370, Jammu and Kashmir had its own constitution with the exception of defense, international affairs, as well as communications. In addition to that, India's parliament could not make any laws for Jammu and Kashmir without J&K's legislative assembly. It's important to note that Article 370 was a temporary provision until the final status of statehood was determined. It's also important to note that a part of Kashmir remains under Pakistan's control and has been in dispute since 1947 between India, Pakistan, and China. Number two, why was Article 370 repealed? Now, the removal of Jammu and Kashmir's special status was a promise by the BJP. On August 5th, 2019, the central government used a provision within Article 370 to abrogate it. The President of India issued an order stating, and I quote, "All the provisions of the Constitution as amended from time to time shall apply in relation to the state of Jammu and Kashmir." The order also read that the order will, and I quote, "supersede the Constitution application to Jammu and Kashmir Order 1954. Now, this abrogated Article 35A as well. Now, Article 35A gives the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly the autonomy to decide who was a permanent resident of the state and who was not. Number three, why did the centre scrap Article 370? PM Narendra Modi had long opposed Article 370 and revoking it has been a part of the BJP's election manifesto of 2019. They stated that Article 370 needed to be scrapped in order to integrate Kashmir as a part of India. Number four, what are the on-ground changes, especially 2 years after its abrogation? Now, as a result of abrogating Article 370, all of Jammu and Kashmir will no longer have its own constitution and will have to abide by the Indian Constitution. Furthermore, Indian laws will be applicable and people from outside of the state will also be able to buy property there, which helps with development. According to news reports, in 2 years after the abrogation, development including a network of roads and highways is already in the works aggressively. There is more transparency in government and new technology has also been introduced to benefit the people. For TV9 Digital, this is Priyanka Deo signing off. Namaste.